Hello, welcome back. I'm your host, LaShawn Robinson, and today we have the opportunity to sit down with DJ, host, and curator, CUSCINO from Future Sound. How's it going?
Good, good. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Good. What an opportunity to be here. This is our first time sitting down, being able to talk with someone from the EDM community. So, let's jump right into this. So, could you tell how the music community about Future Sound?
Absolutely, yeah. Future Sound is a show that I produce, and I started it about 3 years ago. We're on episode 215 now. It's
Wow.
a weekly, now nationally syndicated radio show focusing on the edges of progressive bass music. So whatever genre that gets into, as far as there's a lot of focus around trap and future bass and all that. But really, one of the big reasons I started the show was to focus on the future of sound, people forging new movements in sound, pushing the edges, doing something that I as a artist and producer hadn't heard before. And I really try to uncover those gems every single week and curate the set that's mixed for the show. So
Gotcha. So, CUSCINO, how long have you been on the EDM scene?
It's hard to almost go back and say. I mean, I've been into electronic music since I was honestly probably 14 or so, and I was very much into a lot of what was going on in Europe. Groups like Underworld, into the more industrial stuff like KMFDM, into drum and bass like Goldie and the Metalheads crew and all those guys, Ghost Rider. So going really far back, Crystal Method came out, and then that's kind of when the electronica wave started in the U.S. So you had Crystal Method, you had Chemical Brothers coming out, and Fatboy Slim. So this is all the stuff that was coming out, or maybe coming over from Europe in many cases, not all, but in many cases, coming over from Europe. It kind of started that wave, and then it kind of took mainstream, and then you got bands like U2 putting out albums like Pop, and they're kind of tapping into those influences. So that all came before EDM, really, as we call it today, electronic dance music. So that's really the roots of it. So I'd have to say, I mean, if I was going to answer your question, I'd say probably, like 15 to 20 years, really.
Wow, okay.
But that would go back farther than EDM's sort of birthday, especially here in the U.S. So that's why I give you the long answer.
Yeah, and not a problem, because we had a chance to do some research, right? And so one thing we noticed, from about you, is that you've had an opportunity to work with several artists. And so how have these different artists from different aspects of business been able to impact or affect how you operate Future Sound?
That's a good question. Yeah, over the years I've been in bands, I've been in electronic production acts where we, produced our own music, and then we'd perform it live, and we'd integrate turntables and all kinds of, extra samplers and things like that. So I've worked with a lot of different artists and musicians over the many years, MCs, done some co-production, some remixes, kind of gotten the whole gamut of it. I think just having the diversity of all those different experiences and how different people work, and little tips and nuances that you pick up when you work with somebody, and work ethics, seeing that play out, and really figuring out, who has that really strong work ethic, and, others maybe who don't, and figuring out what you want to emulate and kind of roll into your own mix and your own approach, So, and as you probably know, I mean, I've worked, I've produced hip hop tracks and produced, in the future trap, future bass realm, and I've got some more straight ahead stuff that I've done in the past, kind of very ambient, ethereal trap bass stuff with my Eternality EP that I put out. So yeah, I think all those different experiences over, the last 20 some odd years have just culminated into where I'm at today, and how the next track comes out, and also how the next episode of Future Sound comes out. Because every episode of Future Sound to me is a journey that I'm taking my listeners on.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's not just something that I just throw some tracks together and throw out a random DJ mix. Like, it's something that it's a part of my weekly routine, and I curate each and every one of those tracks and put together. If you listen to the episode, you will hear multiple arcs in any given episode. So it's really a sonic journey.
Right.
That I'm taking people on, both things that are maybe more familiar sounding, but also, if you listen to the show, you'll hear sometimes I'll say, all right, I'm going to take you guys out to the edge, and that to me is the edge of the edge.
Right.
It's the edge to me. It's really the progressive edge, and I love that bleeding edge where new music is getting, is just pushing what we know as the norm today.
Yes, you are locked in the mix right here on Future Sound with me, CUSCINO, coming at you from the West Coast, bringing you the freshest bass music from around the globe. This right here is a brand new one, Future Sound debut, Joyride. The track is called On Fire, and this is the young jalapeno edit. Check it out, I'm CUSCINO. This right here is Future Sound. Turn up.
I would tell you that what I've learned is that there is a lot of festivals in EDM.
Absolutely.
Right, a lot of festivals, and if you had the opportunity right now to headline a festival, who would you like to partner with to headline that festival?
Oh man, it's too many to name, but if I had to pick a few that I really feel like are on the bleeding edge that I love every time I hear them would be like RL Grime, Bauer, Tonight, Party Favor. I'd love to see Flostradamus get back together as a unit. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but Nightmare, Slander, little bit outside of the realm, but always a edge pusher, Flying Lotus, absolutely. I definitely have a whole brain feeder side stage type of thing with that whole collective. So I could go on, but
all right, no, and you brought up a bunch of great DJs that definitely could headline a festival, right? And so with that being said, everyone has a passion, so if we had to just boil your passions down to two, being a DJ or being the host of Future Sound, which one would you choose and why?
You see, I made Future Sound in a way that I can do both at the same time.
I agree with you.
Because every episode of Future Sound is a live mix. There's no edits unless there's a little edit for swearing, because I have to follow some FCC rules or I could get my affiliate stations in trouble. But every single episode, all 200 and some odd, are continuous live mixes. So I have all those basically as DJ sets also in, locked and ready to go.
Okay.
So if I had to pick it, and I have to answer the question straight down the pipe, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I am a creator, and I have sort of like this vision for the future, and no matter what I'm doing. So I feel like the show allows me to combine both the DJ side, but also being that host and that curator and taking people, showing them things. That's always one of the things I've been known for. I mean, I remember in college, like showing my friends, like, hey, look at this group, Underworld, this electronic act. They're filling these stadiums overseas, but if they came and played here, no one knows who they are. And my friends were just like, this is amazing.
Right.
So I feel like me being able to illuminate that, for people every single week with the show is a really awesome feeling. And then finally seeing it get traction and getting, over 1.5 million FM listener reach with our affiliate stations in the US. And then because I push the show to podcast world after it airs on FM radio, so then we have measurement there, heard in over 100 countries. And that's really cool to see that all that work kind of pay off in how many people can hear that you know, as opposed to, you know, it's a whole different kind of challenge. And it's a whole different kind of challenge when you produce a track or an EP and then you want to market that and you want to get that kind of reach. You know, that takes a lot of years to build up to get there.
Right.
So,
No,
I can't pick just one, but if I had to pick one, I would say both combined into one powerful force, you know. And I even, you know, in being able to create that trajectory, I'm also able to bring in that artist side and that producer side, because again, I'm not just hosting and emceeing, like talking over the top, you know. I'm really putting together a journey for, you know, people that I can't see.
Right,
you know?
right. No, I can understand that, and I'm sure the listeners out there definitely can respect that answer, right? So with that being said, I'm sure there's some EDM guys out there saying, man, I really want to, I've listened to Future Sound, I've listened to other, you know, stations. What advice can the host of Future Sound give me? So what advice would you give a up-and-coming EDM DJ?
I would say, you know, be true to yourself. Find the things that you love to play. Don't just cave to what everybody else is playing in their sets. You know, I think that's something I've done from day one, was really go out and try to find, you know, tracks that people aren't necessarily playing on, you know, whatever music site out there 100,000 times, but sometimes I'll find tracks that have been played maybe 10 times, but I think they're amazing,
right.
You know, and then I work them into sets or episodes of Future Sound, and people really respond to those things. So I would say just really following your passion in the way you even select tracks, like what really excites you, you
right.
know, and finding that in the music that you're integrating, you know. So I would say that, and also you know, focus on, I would definitely encourage focusing on producing your own tracks too, and not just being strictly the DJ, because the DJ role is an extension of the music. You are in service to the music. So if you can help yourself by making some of that music that then gets woven into your mixes and what you're sharing with people, that's a good way to get exposure for your own music too. And lastly, it helps you stay in tune with the mechanics and the science and the geometry that is music.
Right.
You know, because you can't just go out and be a DJ. You have to first understand music itself and how it works.
No, that's true. That's true. You definitely got to know and feel it as well, right?
Yeah.
And with that being said, what's next for CUSCINO?
What's next for CUSCINO? Well, we're rolling ahead with Future Sound. We're adding more FM affiliate stations. We just added a station outside of Notre Dame. It's 10,000 watts, which is amazing. There's a complete list on futuresoundradio.com under the About section. But I'm gonna keep putting together episodes of Future Sound each week, and I've also got an EP coming out, probably going to be late 2020, named TBD, but got a number of tracks. Got a couple tracks with Neutrino, who's an up-and-coming independent hip-hop artist, MC, that I've been working with for a very long time. For anybody who's been following along with CUSCINO and past releases, so he's got a couple new features on some tracks I'm going to drop, and some videos are planned as well, and we'll go from there.
All right. Nah, tell you what, CUSCINO with Future Sound, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And as we always ask our people we interview on the show, different creators, we always ask for a sample. And normally if it was a singer, R&B singer, we ask them to sing, or hip-hop artist, we ask them to spit something for us. But today, we're going to do something different. We're going to ask you to actually give us a sample of what Future Sound does and what we can expect to hear on Future Sound on a weekly basis. What do these 100+ countries hear that you can share with us today?
Cool.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's listen.
You're locked in the mix with Cuscino on the ones and twos, right here on Future Sound.
Oh, yeah.
I've been patient, but I won't follow, 'cause I don't want to be your friend. What does it matter to me? I want a little bit of life. No, I don't want to be your friend, 'cause these feelings are violent. This love's so hard to take.
How can all the listeners out there in Huddle Nation get more of what you just gave us here?
Yeah, absolutely. I got you. Visit futuresoundradio.com.
Okay.
Every single week, complete playlist, complete track list of every single track in the mix, including remixes, label names, collective, details guy. It's all right there for you, as well as links to download, complete episode for that week and every past week's episode on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Good.
Stitcher, Castbox are kind of the main platforms on. So you can go out there, you can download and hit replay on any of those. You can also hit me on Twitter at CUSCINO or on Instagram at that Cuscino Sound. And of course, I'm also on huddlemusic.com, of course.
Awesome.
Always into the newest, best thing out there. HUDLmusic.com/Cuscino, CUSCINO.
This love's so hard to take. This love's so hard to take.